Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the final edition of the study of history in week 5, assignments 5. I believe this is our last one. I definitely want to say thank you to the professor. I definitely learned quite a bit in this class that definitely going to take forward with me, and not just, in my work in college and stuff too, but I think it's a good way to keep organized just in life in general and the everyday things I do for work and whatnot. So what we got here, we got this is kind of putting it all together, making the vision come together of how you're going to write our paper. And the point where I'm at right now is working on the thesis. For me, the thesis is, it is what it is, working on trying to tell you what your paper's about and how you're going to prove it of what you're saying. So what I do is I usually, I'll just get a piece of paper and I'll write down the question and what I think, and then I'll try to answer that question, kind of add it a little bit, like bullet points to figure it out, to see if that's what I want to go with. I will definitely. I've written down a few theses and thoughts, and then I'll dissect it. I'll also leave it alone and come back to it as well too. I will also even redo it after I have read more, or maybe I found more info as I'm kind of going through the paper and putting all my thoughts together. I definitely put a skeleton together with, it's got like the thesis, the introduction, what I'm going to talk, the paragraphs, what they're going to talk about that match the thesis. So I kind of use that system as well too. But sometimes as I'm reading more information and looking into it, I will definitely, definitely redo it and try it in different ways and things like that. But one thing I wanted to do here before I start kind of showing you guys some of the things, but I'm going to play a little bit of music for you guys. I do not own the rights to any of this music. It's just for pure entertainment purposes only. I love music. Like, I'm even wearing a Gibson shirt, so go along with me because it's going to make me feel better. So I hope you like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and whatever else comes next. But back to what's going on. So, going through the whole thing, the first thing I did was, of course, searching through the internet. And, I went to the store, I believe is what it is called. I'm not sure the exact saying it, but I was able to find some stuff there. And, yeah, so, this is definitely it right here. One of the ones I found. And I was just, going through all of that stuff and then using the system that I have too, which is kind of a hybrid system of electronic and stuff like that too. I need to, I'll use it to, let me go back to what I have in the here. Hold on just 1 second. Right here. So as I go through, as I was reading this one, because it is, it's 21 pages. I do have a printer. And I do like that's just 21 pages, even if I did it all back. Faster here. All right, so, this is definitely something too, because if this, you can kind of see where the kind of source of what it is for you, of where it's at. So then I can even just come in here and like highlight it. That'll give me a note mentally. So it's still like if I'm using, like if I'm writing it, if I had it printed out in front of me. If I was writing, scribbling on it or whatever, and making notes. So that's definitely one way to use it. And then, what's cool too is about, using the PDFs is I can, when I read something important, I can come over here and I can still highlight it. And that's something to me is pretty good with the hybrid system, because I do the same thing as if I was writing, but instead of me just actually highlighting something with the highlighter, I'm going to just highlight it here on the computer. And that's kind of helped me use the hybrid system that I like figured out during this class, because I do like the old school stuff too. I still like to print things out if it's not too much. This is a Rolling Stone article. Let me switch back cameras here, and you can kind of see right there. It's just another one talking about streaming. I thought it was a good article. So that, definitely using the hybrid system is the way that I wanted to go with and how I like to go with. I thought it was a good help for me as well too. it helps me to stay organized, and because I use technology and I like to write things out in my everyday life. So that definitely helps me when I'm trying to put together a paper and my thoughts and keeping it all together and stuff like that. I also still use those apps that I talked about last time. Let's come over here. Where's it at? Here we go. This one right here. Right here. There. So just get it in there. And then I could even, this is some way I can, when I just want to type some stuff in my phone that uh, I'll be able to keep it as it comes to me, like when I'm not actually sitting down studying, because sometimes my mind, it goes, different ways and things will pop in my head or something will trigger something and I'll start thinking about it. So that's an easy way for me to keep those thoughts together while I'm writing my paper. And then when I come back later, I can just either transfer them, because I still like to write it down and I like to type it because it just helps me keep it in my brain a lot more, for sure. All right. So yeah, so this is the hybrid system is definitely the way I want to go and that I like things and stuff. So that's the system that I want to use. Because I still do like handy dandy markers and my pen to make my notes, because it does help me remember it. Let's move on here. As I was going through this and looking through the information and stuff like that, seeing the question that he provided for us, if you see any potential problems in writing the project at this point. Get back over here. Actually, in my particular point that I wanted to pick, or the topic that I picked of how did streaming hurt the music business. Yes, I can definitely see a potential problems in writing that, and the parts that I have is because it's still a relatively new system, and there's not a lot of information on the subject yet. The jury, as they say, the jury is still out on whether it's going to do it or not, and so that was something that was kind of interesting to me, because I didn't find a lot of sources. I mean, I found some, but it's definitely nothing like concrete that's going to say like, they did this or whatever it was. So that was kind of tough, because the music biz itself is still trying to figure everything out themselves. This is still relatively new to them, and then they're constantly now, like, Congress just made a new rule, so that could affect things. So there's definitely a lot of things that are out there. I would even say that even the people who are researching something like this still do not have info themselves and are still looking at it too. It's a crazy thing, this streaming stuff. Because like, even like back with this, like, even my life is a hybrid, because I like holding a physical album. I like holding something physical. To me that means a lot. And more, you have it, you own it. That's it. That's what it is. And now you just have it right here. And so it's different. And especially the younger generation, people still want to buy CDs. I mean, the older generation still wants to buy CDs, but people don't. I mean, Walmart barely even sells them. They sell, vinyl for this first time in I don't know how many years is going to be outsell CDs. The department stores aren't carrying anymore. There's no more record stores. Well, there's the record stores now, but they're for vinyl. So but the younger generation is what uses streaming, and the older generation does not. That's just, you can see that easily. You don't need a lot of info to figure that out. I mean, it's just like with the phones, the older generation, it's a new technology to them. So I think it being such a new technology to the music business is why that's a potential problem in writing. So a lot of things may be firsthand knowledge that I'd have to go and actually interview people, interview executives, and get their thoughts on it to make it. Just because there's not a lot of information out there on it yet. So, thanks for listening to my rants and talk about music all day long. It's what I love. But I really enjoyed the class. I learned a lot. Thank you very much. And I hope everybody has a good weekend. We'll see you. Have a good week.